Welcome to Simple Seafood. I am pumped for today. I've got my very good friend, Matthew Short, who is a real, true Alaskan commercial fisherman. Just a quick introduction to Matt. We grew up together in Petersburg, Alaska. We've been friends. Matt might clarify this later on, but I want to say since first grade. And yeah, growing up around Matt, and he's the real deal, guys. He is an Alaskan commercial fisherman. He spends a lot of time out in the water, which we'll get into. He was born into this. It goes way back in his family. And yeah, we're just going to dive right in and start asking some questions and hear about Matt's story. So first thing, Matt, give us a little background of you, man. Just tell us about yourself, where you are right now, and just a kind of a quick background on you and commercial fishing, and we'll dive a lot more into it later. But just a quick kind of background of you.
Sure. Yeah. No, I was born and raised in Petersburg here, like you said, in a fishing family. My dad had boats my whole life. That's what he's done. So that's kind of what I got right into after a little bit of college. And yeah, so this is my house here. I'm at home in Petersburg. I'm getting ready for my first fishery of the season here coming up in a few days. We got Tanner Crab opening, and it's a nice, quick little fishery. Be for about a week, and then we'll be right into the longlining halibut and blackcod.
Awesome, man. So talking about this fishery you're just about to jump into, we talked earlier. I know you're gearing up for this. And when I called you like an hour ago, you were down on the docks, kind of getting things prepped. Could you tell us kind of like some of the stuff that you do to prepare for a season, like Tanner's, and just, kind of a quick painting that picture for everybody of like what you actually do ahead, like before you fish, just to prepare for a season?
Sure. Yeah, so I've been doing boat work on and off all winter to get ready just for the upcoming year. There's always maintenance to be done. So I've been doing all that. And now yeah, we just have to we have to go through all our buoy line, uh tie different length shots on for where we're going to be fishing. And we got to go through, we have 80 pots. They're cone shaped pots. They stack on top of each other. They're about 225 pounds a piece, and so they're stackable. But we got to go through them every year and put new rot twine. It's an escape mechanism. If you happen to lose the pot, you have to have an opening that's sewed up with rot twine that'll eventually rot away and let the crab get out. So we got to put new rot twines every year, and then you just go through every pot and look for holes and mend holes in the web. And so we've just got done with that today. So we got all our 80 pots on board. We just put all our buoy line on board. So now we're kind of down to we got to put our buoys on at the end. We got to get groceries, and we got to get bait, and we'll leave probably Monday, it looks like.
Jeez, man, jumping right into it.
Yeah.
So, I can tell you, like, most people when they, from the lower 48, when they think of crabbing up in Alaska, they're going right to Bering Sea. And
Yeah.
obviously, deadliest catch and all that stuff that's been highlighted, is one reason for that. But what could you tell us about the Tanner fisheries, the Tanner fishery down in Southeast? Because what most people don't realize is this is a whole different deal and type of fishery than the Bering Sea stuff. And that could be, which, hopefully you could kind of talk about, like the length of the fishery, how it's managed, like depths you're fishing, size of crew, how far out you are, just, because it's so different than your
Yeah.
typical, Bering Sea stuff. So I'd love just to hear
Yeah.
about that.
So yeah, it's real different. So Tanner crab are what on deadliest catch you'd see as bear dye. It's the same thing. They're the bigger relative of snow crab that you'll see a lot of places. So it's the same crab down here, but we fish them way different. Out in the Bering Sea, they're fishing out in the open ocean. We're fishing in all these in bays, basically bays at near shore. Right on the beach. So, and we're fishing a lot smaller operations. Like my boat's 66 feet long. Most of the boats in the fisheries are around 58 feet. Um, so, like I say, we're using these small cone pots, small compared to what the Bering Sea, they're using the big squares. It's the same idea, pot with buoy line, buoy though, and catching the same crab. But it's just, yeah, we're fishing, they can be anywhere from 10 fathoms of water to 150, 160 fathoms, which fathoms 6 feet. So um, they like mud bottom. So you just go around. There's different bays that have these big populations of tanner crab, and so everyone kind of spreads out and has their spot they go, and it only lasts. Last season it was open for 6 days, and there's core areas and non-core areas. So in the core areas, it was open for 6 days, and then another 5 days in the non-core areas, and that's all managed off of they do Fish and Game does surveys every year, and so that's managed off of what they see, what they think the biomass of the population is, and they also go by the number of pots that are registered to fishery each year, and that's how they decide how many days you get in the core areas. So for a while there, we were getting 7 days, and we got 6 days last year. Hopefully, we get 6 days again this year in the core areas. And yeah, so it's just a lot smaller operation and near shore fishing than the Bering Sea.
So when you guys are fishing tanners out there outside of Petersburg, how does it work to where you guys, I guess when it comes to deliveries, because what I think is kind of cool for the listeners is like, okay, so how much does this boat hold? And for example, how much would you actually want to hold? Because for what a lot of people don't understand, with crab is, when you catch this stuff, you're actually trying to keep it alive, on board, and you're circulating water and all this stuff. And there's terms called dead loss, which, if you deliver dead crab to the processing plant, obviously that goes against you. You can't, sell dead crab.
They won't buy it, yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is just cool stuff that, like, this is daily life stuff. Like, we grew up around this. But so many people have no idea about this. So when it comes to, when you're harvesting, kind of what happens when these crab come on board, when you're looking at, sizing these guys, and maybe we'll talk about why I just made that symbol right there. But then, when you're loaded in the hold, and then how you deliver, if you're delivering out on the grounds or bringing them in. I just think that'd be another cool thing just to go over.
Yeah. So we, yeah, when we bring them on, haul a pot, you dump it out, and you got to sort through it. There's a legal size, like you're saying, the back has to be, I think it's 6.5 inches wide for tanners. It's different for each crab. I think it's, I might be wrong there, but anyways, so yeah, we measure, and you can tell the female crabs, they're always smaller and have a different tail on them, but so you got to throw the undersized crab and the females overboard. So any legal males, you can throw them in the hold. And so yeah, we're pumping water through it all the time from the bottom of the hold, just to you got to keep them alive, like you said. Anything that dies, you can't sell. They won't sell, or they won't buy, and you can't eat it. It's not good anymore. So we got to keep a lot of water pumping through there. And so another thing that's different down here compared to the Bering Sea, we got to be careful about fresh water. Because if you pump a bunch of fresh water through the tank, like if it's been raining a lot and you anchor up in front of a creek or something,
Wow.
The fresh water will kill the crab also. So you got to be real conscientious of where you're anchoring up. So yeah, also, so for deliveries, we can we have tenders running around, so we have bigger boats running around that are available to deliver crab to on the grounds. So you can either do that, or you deliver in town to one of the processing plants. In Petersburg, we have Icicle Seafoods, which is actually just become OBI Seafoods.
Yep.
So they're the buyer in town. There's a couple buyers in Juneau, and I believe there's a place out of Sitka that's buying crab also, or they normally do. So you can either deliver to a tender, which is sometimes nice to do just to know that you delivered that crab and they're alive, and you got that check coming to you already. You don't have to worry about keeping those alive anymore. So you can do that, or sometimes they give you a little extra incentive, money wise, to bring your crab to town and not use a tender, because they only have a limited number of holding space on tenders. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. We've talked a lot about tenders just in our, the content we've done, and obviously, at some point we'll have to talk about, how with tendering, how you've been doing that for so long, in the summertime. Um,
Yeah.
but it's kind of cool because most people don't realize, that these processors, they hire these tenders, so they're out there on the grounds to take the harvest, be it during salmon season or crab or what it might be, just so like you guys can stay on the grounds, keep being productive, and make get the full use out of the season. Because like you said,
Right.
you might be talking a 6-7 day season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And there's some smaller boats than me. Like I don't have any problem. Unfortunately, there hasn't been enough crab around for me to ever fill up my main hold. I got a big main hold, so I never have a problem filling up. But there's smaller boats in the fishery. There's some 48, 50 footers and stuff that need to unload every couple days, and they need fuel, they need fresh water, maybe groceries, something like that. So that's what those tenders are mostly out there for. And then also the tenders can they can start bringing crab to town earlier to get the processors processing some crab before we all come rushing in at once. So you can hold your crab. You can hold your crab for a while. I've held them for 10 days before, but you start getting kind of nervous about if they're all alive down there. So yeah, it's nice to start getting crab into town. Like this year, they're going to try to get steady crab coming into town here, because the processing plant, they kind of with COVID and everything, they tried to hire just local crew this year rather than bringing people into town and having to quarantine them and all that. So they're
wow.
so they're going to have a little less workers than normal. So they're going to have some time to process the crab we bring in.
Yeah, man, that's fascinating. So, to kind of end it up in things off with talk about tanners. What's your favorite part about tanner, or about fishing for tanners, the tanner season, and then why'd you get into this fishery?
Favorite part, I mean, just really the first day. When the first day is typically your best day, when you're catching some good numbers. That kind of after that, it turns into a grind. So the first day when you're hopefully getting some good numbers, that's the funnest part. Then, and just a little bit of just it's one of the few derby fisheries left that we can do around here. So
Yeah.
just kind of the competition of trying to get ahead of everyone and trying to really competing with boats right alongside you. So we're in some places there's 10, 15 boats, and we're all kind of fighting over the same crab. So that's kind of fun. But I got into it because I have a friend here in town that had the permit when I can't even remember when I started, but when I was in my earlier 20s, and he didn't have a boat to fish on, so he decided to hop on my dad's boat, leased my dad's boat to use, and I went along crewing with him. So I did that for 3 or 4 years, and then he wanted to get out of the fishery, so I bought his permit, and he kind of taught me the ropes and of how to find crab, and that's just kind of what happened.
Yeah, man, I think that's so awesome. I mean, that's such like a classic story too, of when you get into these fisheries, because like you said, you get into them either, you grow up into them through family, or you test out these new fisheries with friends and stuff, and you go out on these boats with a deckhand. And so many of, like yourself and all the other guys up there, you seriously, like, you get that bug, man. You like,
Yeah, it's a fun little fishery because it's not going to last for months and months. It's just kind of basically a week and you're done, and it's so that's kind of fun about it too. And yeah, just my dad used to do it back in the back when he was younger. He used to crew
Yeah.
for quite a while, and a different permit holder ran his boat, and my dad crewed. And then he hadn't done it for a while. The boat hadn't crabbed for a while, so I was like, yeah, try it out. It's just week fishing. It was real fun the first couple of years I did it because crabbing was good. Because so a lot of people, so there's at the same time as the Tanner fishery, there's the brown king crab fishery we have around here, and that used to be really good and more profitable. So a lot of the guys that are fishing Tanners now were actually brown crabbing. So the Tanner grounds were a lot less crowded. Now the brown
Interesting.
crab population is down. So everyone's doing Tanners now. So it's pretty crowded. So it's not quite as fun anymore because, it's just, there's too much competition, but it is what it is. So
Yeah.
keep grinding away. Hopefully your brown crab population will come back soon and spread the fleet out a little more.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be a great one.
Yeah.
We'd love to get into that, to start carrying that. And we got to find a way to get some tanners over, and for us too, to get out to all the listeners and all of our customers, because we're getting, Dungeon S has been our bread and butter that we've carried from the beginning, but
Mhm.
man, people are hungry for some more crab, and we need to get some
Tanners are
Matthew
good. They're
Short
actually,
tanners.
not trying to push my product here, but it's my favorite
Push
crab to
it.
eat. So, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, hopefully one of these days we can figure out how to get some down there.
Definitely, man. Well, no, I appreciate this, and I'm going to try to wrap this up with a couple quick questions that we're gonna fire at you. So, first question is, what is your first memory of commercial fishing?
Oh man, probably yeah. My dad's been a salmon tender every summer for 25 or no 30 years probably now.
Wow.
So it'd probably be yeah, it would probably be tendering in the summer. I used to go here and there when I was a little kid, and one of my cousins was a deckhand, and then yeah, we'd go swimming and stuff like that. Probably stuff like that. My sister would go too. So probably yeah, probably tendering in the summers.
How old were you when you first kind of started going on the boats?
I was a baby when my dad was dungey crabbing around here, and I'd be on there with my sister and my mom would be on there too, and but you
Wow.
know, tendering, probably I, you know, 5, 6, 7, probably going out there and just playing around, but being on there, yeah,
I think that's going to be incredible for our listeners, man, because like this is like, this is always something like this is the way of life. This is
yeah,
what you grew up into, coming on the
yeah,
boat as a baby. It's a family thing, and
oh yeah.
so this next question is why do you keep coming back? And what I want to kind of dig into it a little more with this is obviously we went to high school together. You were, or you are, a very, very bright person. You could honestly do anything you want. You did college, you did technical stuff, but you chose this as your career and your lifestyle. So why do you keep coming back to this year after year, season after season?
Yeah, no, it's like you say, it's the lifestyle. We work hard for a decent, this is starting here in a couple of days. I'm going to be pretty busy till October, but then after that, you got and everyone's seasons are different, what
Mm-hmm.
fisheries they do and whatnot. But for me, I get the fall I get to go hunting unless I have a big boat project or something. I do a lot of hunting. I usually can go travel. There's quite a few years there. I'd come down to visit you and
Yep.
fly fishing and stuff. But no, just kind of the freedom of something. You're not. It's yeah, the lifestyle of not having a steady 9 to 5, and that I like, the little bit of different freedom. You work hard and then you can play hard or whatever, and back when I was in college and then long lining in the spring and stuff, the money was pretty good instead of back then too. It's not quite as good anymore, but that helps too. So that helps have a nice lifestyle too. So.
So, what is your favorite fishery of everything you've done? As running your own boat and on deck, and then why is that your favorite fishery?
I'd say probably halibut fishing. Just catching those big halibut is just seeing them coming out of the water and sticking a gap in them and flipping them over the rail
Man.
is pretty exciting. It's pretty fun even if you've done it for a long time, it's pretty exciting seeing a big one down there coming up at you. Black cod used to be fun, not baiting the hooks. There's a lot of you're baiting a lot of hooks for black cod. It used to be fun when the fishing was good. You get a big shot of black cod, you just flip them over the rail.
Yeah.
But that's kind of changed with the whale situation. So now we're fishing pots, and pots is actually fun for black cod. It's just fishing hasn't been that great lately. So it's a little more, it's turned into more of a grind fishery, but so I'd say halibut is probably the funnest one.
Awesome, man. So last question here. If you could do any other job, anything, like you get to pick it besides commercial fishing, what would it be?
Put me on the spot here.
Yep. Anything, man. Anything. Could be crazy.
Oh man. Anything. Oh man. Oh, really? It would be one of those Food Network guys that just goes around to all the delicious restaurants and eats all the delicious food. Yep. Travel the world and eat food. Yep.
There it is. I love it. We're gonna have to get you on some more when you come down here next, some episodes of some taste testing and some more seafood cooking.
Yeah.
So because for those listeners that haven't dug into the YouTube channel too deep, if you go all the way to the very back of our YouTube channel, the very first video I ever uploaded was me and Matthew cooking. I believe it was salmon poke. Yeah, so that is the OG of our YouTube channel.
That was it. That was fun.
But all right, man, Matthew Short, Alaskan commercial fisherman. Awesome. Thank you again for being on here. And we just opened a can of worms for like so many other conversations. So I look forward to talking to you more, and good luck with Tanners, man.
Thank you, sir. Good talking to you, buddy.